Okay.
The
Now
stream.
the speech should be starting. I mean, the stream should be starting. Mike, okay. How is it that these things are equally disorganized?
There we go.
All right. Everyone is invited to join the House of Nerds for this. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Right. Address from the throne concerning the state of the Confederation, et cetera, et cetera. And why is it just a blank screen on the stream? Why? What do you see? Can someone check the stream and see what it says?
It's literally just, hold on, wait, no, I'm no longer live. Oh, wait, no, it's you.
Okay. Does the YouTube stream, when it catches up, does it show my face?
Now it's showing your face right now.
Right. At some point, it should show my fingers waving.
The fingers waving? For some reason, it keeps on switching off of your thing. And
okay, well, hopefully at least the audio works. Does the audio work even when the screen is off?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, well, I'm also recording, so hopefully that I can just... Okay, the first thing is, and for this I will have to mute the stream, but we were playing the Royal Anthem. Okay, the royal anthem is concluded. Pull up the speech. Before we begin, a thanks to our cabinet for preparing our drink tonight. Here it is. Okay. Once again, thanks to the cabinet for preparing our drinks. Our fellow New Australians, for the first time in 3 months, a new administration has been sworn in. The reign of Alabast is over. The reign of Anne, peace be upon her, begins. Some have alleged that the prime ministership of Anne, peace be upon her, is just a continuation of the Alabastian regime, with Alabast in the shadows running the scene. This is false. Our girl boss queen, peace be upon her, slays. Of course, Anne, peace be upon her, runs everything. She just delegates a lot of responsibility to Alabast. Stop being goofy. In the past few months, much has happened in this land of New Australia. The new administration brought many changes, much like suicide. After the alliance of the Doggists with the Alabastian movement and the cutting off of Joey after the nuking of Wyoming, the Alabastian movement formed into the Virgin Nerds, later named the Oligarchy. The Virgin Nerds brought forward sweeping reforms to New Australia, reforms such as the Tomato Act, correcting an egregious error within the common law tradition, or financial reforms such as the Fair Share Act, ensuring that the new Australian economy would be strong. During this time, we also held a constitutional convention, where the people of New Australia, except for the ones barred for being annoying, and brought forward necessary reform to the Articles of Confederation. While we spoke about this in the previous speech, it is always important to remember our veterans. We fought a vital war against the Statum in this time, in which the government totally approved of a war against the Statum. Many brave veterans fought for their lives, and we lost a glorious Sir Concerned Citizen at this time. May we have a moment of silence for Sir Concerned Citizen? Less than play taps at the bottom, have everyone silent for it, greater than. Cross your fingers that we don't get copy strike for this. Less than play taps with the bot and have everyone be silent for it, greater than. The oligarchy and its commitment to veterans passed the PACT Act, ensuring that the heroic sacrifices of our amazing veterans would not have been done in vain. Anyways, what else happened? Oh, we guess the oligarchy continued to exert power over New Australia, bringing forth Pax Alabastia, an era of peace, tranquility, no issues, ignore all the issues. The heretic schismatics decided to deny the new Australian Orthodox Church and the Patriarch and the Prophet Josephus, which was cringe, and they didn't have the noose And they probably have papal clown masses. Thankfully, many have returned into the communion with the great waffle davy. Where was we? Did you guys know that back in 1993 we fought a big bully by the name of Corn Bop, and we told Corn Bop push-up contest, and we beat Jack, and our son died in the war, a Flimnia. The oligarchy and securing a better future for the new Australian people. They did the thing. They were jumping on our lap. We like cockroaches jumping on our lap. Jack, the minister of bagel. We appointed Joey as the minister of bagel, and then we went to golf in our Delaware resort. As Alabast became the acting president, peace be upon him. During this time, they didn't like the minister of bagel. During this time, they didn't like the minister of bagel. A report by the wonderful, amazing, always true Dogolanian Intelligence Services showed clear, concrete proof of Joey selling bagels to a statum for profit, which he wasn't supposed to do. Oops. Which he wasn't supposed to do. Let us tell you, Jack, he really wasn't supposed to do that. This like that time he told Born Bop to stop bullying those kids. We was trying to sniff. We was like, you can't do that, Jack. And that's what the oligarchy was saying to Joey. And the House of Virgins, they created a committee to investigate the minister of bagel. Just like when we investigated that corrupt Ukrainian prosecutor who was targeting our son unfairly, who died in the war. And we got that guy a handsome job at a Ukrainian energy company. What nice folk. We need to pay them more. Hey, can someone get Alex Jones to pay for more Ukrainian aid? Anyways, in the shadows, the amazing oligarchs were working to enshrine in Articles of Confederation the God-given right to sniff man's hair. Wait, no, that was a dream of ours. We had a dream that the children whose hair we sniff will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the heroin that they inject, but by the lateness of the abortions they support. We have a dream today. Earlier this morning, in fact. I also had a dream that I was in my underwear. So yeah, the oligarchs, they worked to bring about new reforms to the Articles. But the oligarchy would never happen again. They were awesome oligarchs, just like that Zelensky guy. He's awesome. But their time was done. And so they, in a day that will live in infamy, brought forward sweeping reforms to the Articles of Confederation that we prevented happening, as we called them rat bastards, because they didn't do it right. But it's okay, they are still awesome, and the next day they did it right. And now we have these new Articles of Confederation, better than the previous ones ever. Now, a new day dawns on New Australia. We reject our former links with fascism and instead bring about diversity. We now have 2 women in government. Our Prime Minister, peace be upon her, is an amazing girl boss who slays. 100% of the women in New Australia have been in government, and that's a fact. Pakistan is bad and evil and bigoted. We love the gays, we love the prideists, we love the inclusivists, we love Discord terms of service. Hooray for LGBTQ plus rights. We support Ukraine and Zelensky and the science and big chunkus. Kekistan is dead. We in this house we believe that Black Lives Matter. Women's rights are human rights. No human is illegal. Science is real. Love is love. Kindness is everything. We hate white people. We should kill white people. The Russians we mean, not the Ukrainian people. The Ukrainians slay Azov slaves. But unfortunately, evil folk, like those evil bigoted MAGA Republicans who are so divisive. Man, we hate those people so much. We hate them. We hate them. We hate them. We hate them. Came to this land like that darn Chowderhead. Now Chowder reminds us of this one incident back when we was lifeguarding. And Dornbob, he did a thing. That rascal, it was like, hey Jack, you know the thing. And he cowered under our words and ran away like the former president of Afghanistan. And just like that, Chowderhead was removed from this land under the amazing, awesome leadership of our amazing Queen Girl Boss Slay. Oh, yeah, the acting presidency. Oh, yeah, we just remembered there was another person who reminded us of that Dornbach guy from our young years. That super straight femboy fella. Jack, what is a femboy? Yeah, he was a bigot and banned and evil. We reject him. We love Discord. TOS, please don't ban us. This is satire. We stand with Ukraine. The acting presidency, the oligarchy. They try to take power away from us. Shame on them. Actually, no. They forced passive assent because we were being lazy and not passing any bills. Thanks, blah, blah, blah. It was because of that the Minister Bagel stuff happened. Oh, yeah, a lot of people died and we took their shekels. That was like when we advocated the invasion of Iraq in 1997 to kill Saddam because we didn't like that he reminded us of Bornbod. Oh, yeah, the HJE came back. That happened. We'd like to thank our sister Jill, or wait, is that our wife? Ah! Our fellow New Australians, let us be clear. We are currently at war with the biggest threat we have ever seen, truly the biggest. That's what they say. That's what they tell us. They tell us it's the biggest. It's the biggest we've ever seen. We've never seen one bigger. Not even close. It's not even close. We are at war with a threat that has been lurking in the shadows. It has been subverting the New Australian people for too long. We are at war with the invisible hand of Rome. That's a really big hand, but it's not as big as ours, let us tell you. Like, it's a pretty big hand. It's one of the biggest. They say it's one of the biggest hands they've ever seen. It's bigger than any other hand, but it's not as big as ours. Say our hand is the biggest around. It's not even close to our hand. It's not even close. Their hand, you can't even see their hand when you look at our hand. Our hand is so big. It's so big. It's so big it holds the universe in it. It's so big. The Bishop of Rome hath no just jurisdiction in this realm of New Australia, and yet he seeks to expand his influence here. To beat the enemy, we must think like the enemy. We think like the enemy better than they think like the enemy. In fact, we think like the enemy so much that we think like the enemy before the enemy thinks like the enemy. We're the best at thinking like the enemy. We do it so much that we're the enemy. There's no one who thinks like the enemy better than us. Not even the enemy thinks like the enemy as good as. We think like the enemy so much. We're the best enemy. New Australia is the best enemy that New Australia has. It's not even close. There's no enemy of New Australia that's even as close to as good to thinking like the enemy as New Australia. We are our own best enemy, and that's a fact. I'm telling you. That's what they tell me. They don't like it. They don't want to hear it, but it's true. It's true. There's no other country that's as big of an enemy to us as we are. We're the best enemy. No one is our enemy better than we are, and that's a promise. It's a promise. Deep State of Rome wants you to think that they think like the enemy better than we think like the enemy, but we think like the enemy way better than them. We were the Pope. If we were the so-called Vicar of Christ, we'd want to engulf the whole world in papistry, and we'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population. But we wouldn't be happy until we had seized the ripest apple on the tree, thee. So we'd set about, however necessary, to take over New Australia. We'd subvert religion first. We'd begin with a campaign of whispers, with the wisdom of John the 12th. We would whisper to you as we whisper to the medieval peasants, do as you please. To the young, we would whisper that anime isn't all that bad. We would convince them that only some anime is degenerate rather than the whole of it. We would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old we would teach to pray after us, our Father, which art in Rome. And then we'd get organized. We'd educate authors on how to make papistical literature exciting, so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. We'd threaten Port Arthur TV with dirtier movies and shows like Bacano. We'd peddle weed to whom we could. We'd sell poop to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. We'd tranquilize the rest with bagels. If we were the Pope, we'd soon have the oligarchies that war with themselves, Alabastian sects that war with themselves, and states that war with themselves, until each in turn was consumed. We'd bring schism and faction and destruction to New Australia, and with promises of political power, we'd have cabinet members fanning the flames. If we were the Pope, we would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild until before you knew it, you'd have to have anime posters and other forms of degeneracy at the schoolhouse door. Within a decade, we'd have a crime boom. We'd have judges promoting anime. Soon we could evict the supreme king or rulelord, glory be to him, from the government, then from the courts, and then from the houses of parliament. And in the churches we would substitute degeneracy for religion and deify anime. We would lure vercutors and clerics into properly using church money and no longer accepting bribes. If we were the Pope, we'd make the symbols of less than holiday 1 greater than a less than symbol greater than, and the symbol of less than holiday 2 greater than a less than different symbol greater than. If we were the Pope, we'd bring about the people to report the edgy jokes of the New Australians and bring legitimate Nazis so discord would ban the ambitious New Australian. And what do you bet we could get whole states to promote hard work as the way to get rich? We would caution against extremes in gambling and Alabastianism in moral conduct. We would convince the young that being against anime is old-fashioned, that hentai is more fun, that what you see in anime is the way to be, and thus we hand you poop. We hand you poop you in public, and we could lure you into the halls of Parliament to shut down any bill seeking to preserve any semblance of New Australian tradition. In other words, if we were the Pope, we'd just keep right on doing what he's doing. This is what the Pope has been doing to New Australia. But we can see what the Pope has done, and as we as New Australians must unite against the threat of papism, we must reject papistical subversion. There is nothing to fear. 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 There is something to fear. Psych! There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. There is nothing to fear. There is nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. Jack, now let us tell you, if you don't vote confidence in this government, if you don't vote confidence in this government, then you ain't black. You opposed a women's right to choose to have a 95th semester abortion. You hate Ukraine, and you Discord. We love Discord, TOS. Seriously, Discord. This server is just a ton of jokes. Please don't be mad at us, and our DMs are satire. A finder Schlavish she. This has been the greatest speech in the history of speeches, perhaps ever, some say. Some say we're not saying, but some say that we're better speakers than Cicero. Some say we're the greatest speaker ever in the history of Christianity. We've done more for Christianity than any other preacher in all of Christian history. No one ever, not one person, has ever given speeches greater than we. We're not saying that, but it's what people say. It's what they say. Which is why you should vote for confidence in the government.
There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. Guys, there's nothing to fear. I'm telling you guys.
Mr. Doggo.
What?
The press, they're out there saying that there's something to fear. Is this true?
That's a lie. That's a lie. There's nothing to fear. Anne is here.
As the patriarch, I can offer me a religious advice to you. There's nothing to fear.
All hail our girl boss prime minister, Slay.
Listen to...
Our church stands with the girl boss prime minister in this pressing time.
Slay.
Slay.
Slay! Is he still dead? Wake up! Joe Biden, wake up! Joe Biden, wake up!
Can we all appreciate our regal solar looks? The kangaroo world. Okay.
Seymour is an odd fellow. Are you still streaming, Sola? Okay.